Hello, 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 everyone. Nicole Roberts Jones here, and welcome back to part two of a conversation we started last week. Welcome to Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, the Bankroll Your Brains expert, excited for you to be here with me week after week, where we talk from three subject areas. One, what is your brilliance, your purpose, the one thing God has created you to do or be in this world? Number two is the value tied to it. And number three is how do you create multiple streams of income from it? So today is all about multiple income streams. So if you joined me last week for Dominate in Your Lane, if you missed it, go back and watch the replay. And that was really step one. We talked really about your brilliance. And what you have to know is if you're not clear on what your purpose is and what it does and who it's for, then no matter how brilliant you are, your business will fail. It will. Right. And I see so many people who start businesses that just don't make it. And the number one reason is they're not clear on their purpose and they aren't differentiating themselves in the market. And God has created a lane all your own. So again, if you missed week one, go back and watch it. Today we're talking all things multiply. And really we're talking the second two steps of what I call the DFM formula. I'm not going to go into details about that, but I gave you a book last week. I want to gift it to you this week as well in case you missed it. DFMformulabook.com. It walks you through everything I'm sharing in much more detail because I have limited time with you. And so last week, I talked to you about dominating in your lane. And the reason I'm so passionate about this conversation is because there was a time in my business where my business looked successful, but I wasn't dominating in my lane. So I shared the first part of my journey with you last week. Now let me share with you from there. So as I said last week, I started my business in 1993. So some 17 years in, by 2010, my business was in the place that I dreamed when I started it back in 1993. So back in 2010, I had two divisions in my business. I had a for-profit and a nonprofit. So in my nonprofit, I was working with African American teenage girls, and I had 10 chapters in 10 cities throughout the country of that program. And we were growing by leaps and bounds. In my for-profit, I had a coaching client roster, coaching highly skilled professionals like many of you, really how to get clear on your purpose and start purpose-focused businesses from it. And so because I couldn't take another client, I thought I'd write my first book. So my first book came out in 2010. And when that book came out, and I had a publisher for that book, and I started getting invitations to speak all over the country. My publisher told me my book was a bestseller. I thought I had made it. Every single weekend, I was speaking at some women's empowerment event, a entrepreneurial symposium, and I loved every minute of it. But I was only generating, get this, $13,000 a year. 13,000. Mm-hmm. So I pretty much had a big community service because I did not have a job. I was not getting a paycheck from it. And so, listen, I remember this moment like it was yesterday. And as you're coming in, I know I went right in because I'm so excited about what I'm going to share with you today. Come on in and tell me hello and tell me where you're from. And if I'm sharing anything that resonates with you, I want to hear it. I want you to post comments. I want you to share your insight. I want you to share questions. I will come back and make comments. I'm at a conference again this week. So I'm pouring into you. Actually, I'm speaking at an event this week. So I'm pouring into you ahead of time. So listen, I remember my turning point moment like it was yesterday. It was November 7th, 2010. I just gotten home from another speaking weekend. And by the way, you know I had a daytime job because you can't eat on $13,000. So at the time, I was an adjunct professor. And my class was at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. Now listen, this is Sunday night. I hadn't looked at my syllabus. I hadn't written a lecture note. And I remember sitting on my couch tired thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And as soon as I said that out of my mouth, I felt guilty because I knew this thing, my business was my purpose, but this was $13,000 and having to work another job wasn't cutting it. So I said, Lord, if this is really you, I need you to show me something. So in that moment, I heard about a free webinar. I went to that free webinar. On that free webinar, they invited us to an event. I signed up for that event. That event cost $500 to register. The event was in California. I lived in Boston at the time. I had to buy my plane ticket. It was another $500. I went by myself. My hotel was $500 a night. That was $1,500. I couldn't afford it, but I couldn't afford not to go. And I met my first coach at that event. Matter of fact, that even showed me all the stuff I didn't know about my business, but I knew I needed help implementing it. So I hired my coach I met at that event. And to make an even longer story short, working with that coach, she began to show me me. If you remember last week, I said that you can't see the label from inside the jar. Well, you're always in the jar called you. So there are things that you do that are intrinsic to who you be that you cannot see. So can I tell you that I wasn't dominating in my lane? I probably had my toe in it, but I wasn't standing in the full power of it. And that's when my coach began to show me when she said to me, and I quote, "Did you tell me you're an adjunct professor, that you right now teach at Boston University, but you taught at USC for 4 or 5 years?" And I was like, "Yeah." "And what you taught was program development, right?" "Yeah." "And then you told me you had a consultancy when you lived in LA," because I'm from LA, by the way. "And you work with heads of state, you work with nonprofits, you work with celebrities, you work with all kinds of different kinds of businesses. And what you've done is gone into those businesses and developed programs." And I thought to myself, yeah, look at my coach knowing me. And the next thing she said didn't just change my business, it changed my life. She said, "You don't have any programs in your own business." It's like she turned on the light to my brilliance. Duh. So I've been teaching everyone else how to do something I hadn't done for myself. Matter of fact, there were pieces of me that I hadn't even seen before. So that night, I created what I call my blueprint. I created my first program from that blueprint. I made $10,000 in a week from that program. I went from 13,000 a year to over 200,000 within 6 months, and my business has been growing since then. I'm sharing that with you because there are principles that God put inside of you that are created for you to live abundantly above all you could ask or think. That's John 10:10, by the way. But the first part of that same verse is the enemy comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. He doesn't want you to know how brilliant you are. He wants to divert your attention to get you off your game. Well, I'm here as your sister in the journey to get you on your game so that you can go after it fully, completely, not just to make money. Yeah, money's great, but I need you to understand there are people that need you. When you begin to understand the DFM principles that I've been walking you through, then you understand that you are wired to be someone's answer. So continuing from our conversation last week, where I talked all things dominion, the next two steps, dominion is the first two steps, dominion, fruitful, multiply. Remember Genesis 1:28, God's mandate to us is that we be fruitful and multiply, have dominion. So fruitful and multiply. Fruitful means, I'm looking at the definition, producing good results, beneficial, profitable. Multiply means to increase or cause to increase greatly in number or quantity. And I need you to get this. Let's do fruitful first. See, when you are number one, and I walked you through my Brilliance framework last week, remember? So it's a 4-step process. I walked you through the first 3 steps last week. Step 1 is passion. Step 2 is proficiency. Step 3 is problem. So listen, when you are the answer to someone's problem, that's where the fruitful comes because it is producing good results, not for you, but for the people that need you. And so when you produce good results, what happens is you are affecting the system. See, God is a God of systems. Mhm. You don't believe me? Go read Genesis, how God created the heavens and the earth. Tell me that's not a system. Drink a glass of water and think to yourself, where does the water go? You have a whole digestive system. Look in the sky, look at the sun, and realize there's a whole solar system up there. Do I need to keep going? Everything we do, everything around us is a system. And you too are part of a system. See, you are part of a system. And so when you bless the people that need you, then they can bless the people that need them, and so on, and so on, and so on. No purpose is any smaller than any other purpose because it all works together as an organism that is called the kingdom here on earth. So when you produce good results, because what happens is when people work with you, you get them to a predictable result. Just like I know when I get to coach and teach the clients that I'm blessed to work with, I help them create multiple streams of income from what they know. I help them produce their brilliance into all the ways that they should live and move and have their being around it. And then it blesses their business, but it blesses their family, it blesses their community, it blesses their life. And then that again becomes a part of a system. Do y'all get that? So you and then the people that need you are part of a system. So then when I bless you, if I'm your answer as a coach, then when you bless your clients, I'm a part of that system. Isn't that good? That produces good results in this world. It keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. So good. So in order to do that, you've got to have a blueprint. You've got to create a system within you. See, I mean, so many entrepreneurs, so many highly skilled professionals that start businesses alongside their 9 to 5, which is what I hope you do. And you're doing whatever, whenever, however, and you're wondering why you're overwhelmed. You wonder why you're exhausted. You wonder why you're tired, because you got to have a system around it, a blueprint. I had the pleasure of redoing the house I grew up in, and I started looking up all these pictures on Pinterest. I want my cabinets to look like this, and I want floors to look like this, and I want these marble countertops. I did all of that, put all these pictures together, and my contractor was like, "Okay." But before we can do any of that, we need to start with a blueprint. Because if we buy the top of the line walls, and by the way, I'm from LA, I said this a minute ago, so the house is in LA. I live in the DMV area now. But listen, this is exactly what he said to me. He said, we could buy the top of the line walls, but if the walls don't match the foundation, don't go with the foundation, and don't go with the roof, when an earthquake comes, your house will fall. Well, that was happening in my business. I was doing whatever, whenever, however. I had no systemic approach. I wasn't using a blueprint. And we don't take time to make up a recipe. This is one of the things I love to do with my clients. When you're not making up a recipe, then you don't have a system that you're using from your brilliance. And again, if God hasn't got a system, then what makes you think you don't need a system? For those of you that are saying, Nicole, oh my God, just those first 2 steps, I need help. I'm going to invite you. So I do a 2-day intensive. And my next one is coming up March 18th and 19th. It's called Be the Answer. You can learn more about it. But before you learn more about it, I got a special gift for you. So take a look at this video, and I'll come back and walk you through the final step. How would you like to experience this from your living room? See, if you know anything about my annual event, Be the Answer, this event is all about implementation, high energy impact with live coaching. So, how are we going to actually pull this off? Well, we're going virtual, because now more than ever, the world needs that genius in you. And all you need is the right strategy, the community, the coaching, and the motivation to start and grow your business. But these uncertain times have stopped us from travel, from networking, and quite honestly, it has stopped each of us from the momentum we need to pour into our brilliance to really understand the fundamentals we need to create multiple streams of income from it. It seems like the only thing we can control is the choices we make in the midst of what's happening around us. And here's the thing, your life is dictated by the choices you make. That is why, to support you, we have created Be the Answer into a 2-day live virtual event to help highly skilled professionals to start or grow your purpose-focused business. So, Be the Answer, my 2-day intensive, is a dynamic implementation space equipped to help you, and we'll be streaming live from a production studio with an entire production team. So this event will not be like another Zoom event. We do it world class and will not be a conference where you hear from a bunch of speakers. No. See, this is why I call it an intensive, because it will be me and you for those 2 days, where I get to really coach you and we do the work together to bankroll your brilliance. We'll also be doing breakout sessions where you can network. See, these sessions can lead to partnerships, JV, affiliate, and lifelong friendships. Now you must be thinking, that's great, but I don't have time, or how do I figure this out around my kid's schedule? But here's the other thing. I know you do know. You know now is your time, and if you aren't using the time right now to get the tools and strategy you need, I guarantee you'll look up, and a year from now, you'll regret the time you missed. So don't let any excuse deter you from the breakthrough you greatly desire and know you need right now. Yes, it's time to move into the highest and best version of who God created you to be. So I'm not coming to teach you and coach who you already are. I'm coming for who you have not yet become. So here's what it looks like. You can grab a notebook. Actually, you don't need a notebook because I'm sending you a swag box with everything you need in it. Oh, and also when you register, you also receive my 5-week program, Big Bold Move, that will give you the work to start and prepare now for all that I will pour into you and Be the Answer. Now, you're probably wondering, how much is all of this going to cost, right? For me really to coach you for those 2 days and get all the implementation strategy that will move your business forward. Well, in the past, you would pay a registration fee, plus have flights and hotels and food costs. But since you're streaming it live from home, you will only pay to register. Now you might be wondering, who is Be the Answer for? It's for the highly skilled professional that's ready to start your purpose-focused business alongside your 9 to 5, or maybe you already have one. You know, a coach, an attorney, an accountant, a personal trainer, a consultant of some kind, a sales expert, an author, a speaker, or maybe you're a corporate executive that wants to take the intellectual property you've been getting a paycheck for and start to build your own business alongside your 9 to 5. And you want to learn the secrets to make money in your sleep. It's for those who feel that their business is a calling and that they want to change the world. It's for those who know that they need to grow their business online to impact the lives of the people who need you while also being able to provide for your loved ones. It's for the ones who get excited to learn about marketing and personal development and modeling what success looks like. See, those who want to be the answer they were born to be in this world. So if you're ready to take massive action, if you're ready to get clear on your message, build a movement of people who need you, and build multiple streams of income while you do it, then make sure you register for Be the Answer Virtual right now. See, I can't wait to coach you and teach you in those 2 days. All right. Now that we're back, let me put this up on the screen because I really want you to get this. I really want those of you that want to be in the room, I got a special gift for you, $100 off until Sunday, February 13th. Use the code PIVOT22. You see it at the bottom of the screen, betheanswerevent.com. So if you know, like you know, that you're ready to start your purpose-focused business, or you've been in business for years and something seems off and is not working, I need you in the room. Betheanswerevent.com. I keep it very small so I can really coach you. Only me and you, not a whole bunch of speakers. Only me and you in those 2 days so I can coach you and teach you. Betheanswerevent.com. Small group. You see the bonuses you get, everything. All right? Again, Pivot22 is a code. You get $100 off until Sunday. All right. So let's walk through the final step. Now, this is profit. This is profit. So again, my Brilliance framework is passion, proficiency, problem, because problem is a fruitful. Passion, proficiency together is dominion. People and the problem is part dominion, part fruitful. That's the system that God created you to dwell in. That's the place you need to create a blueprint. Then when you create a blueprint, when you're clear and uncompromising about the lane God created you to dwell in, when you know who needs you, because you're not everybody's answer, but you are somebody's answer, then you can multiply. So you got to understand that what most billionaires don't tell you is they have multiple streams of income, right? Again, multiply means to increase or cause to increase greatly in number. So when you begin to look at how you can systematize your brilliance and create all the ways you can work with people, one of which needs to be what I call making money while you sleep, then you stop leaving transformation behind. Can I tell you that when my business was broke, guess what $13,000 was broke and broken? It's because I had to be present to do everything. Listen, somebody's going through one of my programs right now and I'm not there. So you've got to learn a system to create your brilliance in. Now, here's the other thing. I remember I was in a clubhouse probably about a year ago now. And a woman said to me, Nicole, I created a program just like so-and-so, and I did it just the same way she did it, but I saw her making 6 figures from her program and I made nothing. Why is that? Go back to dominion. So you can't do what I call Milli Vanilli syndrome. And those of you that don't know who Milli Vanilli is, go look them up. Don't make me feel old. They were a group out in the 90s. They had a hit out. They won a Grammy for the best new artist. And then somebody leaked that they were lip syncing on the track. And see, when you copy somebody else, you're lip syncing on their brilliance track. And so you're getting clear about the one lane God created you to dwell in, that you are called to dominate in. It's from that lane that you produce good fruit. It's from that lane that you multiply. That's why it's so important. You know, speaking of multiply, if I give you an example, I had the pleasure of coaching Dr. Deborah Tillman, America's Super Nanny. When I met Dr. Deborah, she was already powerful, playing big on national TV, traveling all over the country, speaking on parenting and family. And what most people don't know is she owned child care centers. And so for her problem was the exact opposite of mine. She couldn't take any more clients. She just didn't have the bandwidth. So when I said to her, we've got to create a blueprint, she was like, no, I tailor the experience when I work with families. See, what I said to her next, I just knew she was going to fire me. She said that. I said to her, okay, are you done with that? Silent on the phone. Again, I knew she was going to fire me. She humored me, and I gave her the homework that I give to every single one of my clients. She came back to our second call in tears. She did not realize that there was a methodology, a system inside of her. And I guarantee you, just like I didn't realize it until the day that my coach held a mirror up to me and showed me, I guarantee you there's a system in you that you don't even realize you go through. So for those of you that will be in the room at Be the Answer, I can't wait to show you what that system is. I can't wait. Listen, one of the activities we do is what I call a revenue wheel, 6 streams of revenue we build together on the second day. But I walk you through what is the lane that God created you to dwell in. How do you begin to build a tribe of people that will buy from you? And then how do you create multiple revenue streams? I'll walk you through the Brilliance framework. We get clear on it and we do the work, because here's the thing you've got to understand and why this whole conversation is so important. Yes, we can all have multiple revenue streams. Yes, we can all build $6, $7 million businesses, no problem. But my goal for you is when you die and get to go meet God face to face, I want him to say to you, job well done, daughter. Job well done, son. You did the very thing I called you to do or be in this world. You were the answer I created you to be. That's my greatest desire for you, because it's bigger than just making money. So when I'm talking about making money and multiply, it's bigger than the Louis Vuitton or Gucci or the Mercedes or Jaguar or whatever car you want. It's bigger than that. See, when you make more money, it creates more meaning in this world. It means that you can serve more people. That means that I can hire more teams so I can serve more people. It means that when you see a great calamity happen, some kind of world disaster happen, you can make a donation to that country in cash. It means you can pay for your children to go to college in cash. I can go on and on. But when you make more money, you create more meaning in this world. That is what I mean when you make profit, so that you profit your family, you profit your community, you profit all those connected to you. That's what I mean by multiply, so that you multiply the good fruit that you're producing through your gift, and many people will benefit from it. So that is really our 3 steps to multiply. One, you got to get clear on the power of your dominion, which I walked you through last week. Number 2 is you got to create a blueprint from it, which produces good results. And then number 3, you've got to create multiple revenue streams. And one of those has to be making money while you sleep. I remember a lawyer came to Be the Answer a couple years ago, and she didn't believe that I could help her. And I love a challenge, because I can help anybody as long as you're willing to take your intellectual property. So, by the way, if you want to build a product-based business, I'm not your girl. I'm not your coach. But those of you that want to take your know-how, your brilliance, your purpose, and number 1, be the answer you were born to be in this world, and number 2, create multiple streams of revenue from it, I am your girl. So when she came to Be the Answer, let me put this back up, for those of you that want to come, she didn't think I could help her. And she came because someone else suggested that I could. So in that room that day, when she said, oh, you can't help me create other revenue streams, I said, well, what kind of law do you practice? She said, oh, I'm a family practice lawyer. Okay. How many people? And I said, so what's the majority of that? Divorce? And she said, yes. Okay, great. So how many people do you turn away because they can't afford your billable hours for divorce? She said, ooh, a lot. I said, what if we took one portion of what you do in that billable hour and we created an online program? And she looked at me like, oh my God. I said, that's one stream. Do you know we created 4 additional streams from that in the room that day? So there are all kind of things available to you. The way that God wired me is I can see all the money you leaving on the table. So all you got to do is get your room in, get your butt in the seat, whether you're not clear on what your purpose is, whether you're not clear on who your people are, whether you're not clear on how to produce from that, or how to create multiple revenue streams. In the room, we will create that day, and get your seat by Sunday so you can get your $100 off. It's March 18th and 19th. By the way, it's virtual, again, from the comfort of your home. You don't have to go anywhere. Yes, we network. Yes, I send you gifts. It's so much more, and you'll get it for $197, but your $100 off. So Pivot 22 is your code. So with that, it's been my honor and pleasure to share this 2-part series, what I call my DFM formula, because God has created you to be fruitful and multiply and have dominion. One of the greatest blessings that I have is to answer my call in life, the call that God placed on me, which is to hold the space, that you get clear on your assignment, and that you go after being the highest and best version of who God created you to be, because there are people that are waiting for you. See, you are the answer to somebody's prayer. And every day you hold up on being that answer, you're late for work. You're late being the woman, the man that God has created you to be. So if you have questions, you have comments, if any of what I've shared has resonated with you, I want to hear it. Post it in the comments below. And also, if any of this has been valuable to you, share it. Share it with your network so that other people can be blessed by this insight. So with that said, that is today's conversation for this episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Of course, I'm here with you every Thursday. Sometimes here by myself, I give you insight, coaching, and training. And sometimes I bring other folks in to talk about all the ways that they've been able to bankroll their brilliance, so that you see a living, breathing example of what it looks like when you say yes to do you unapologetically. I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, and until our next episode, until next week, go and be all that God has called you to be, and let's be fruitful and multiply in 2022. Bye, y'all. See you next week.